Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. Getting close to 550. I think this is episode 548. It was not a great start to a Monday morning. Why? Well, it's snowing outside. Yes, on April 18th. Earmuffs, Herman. April 18th, it is snowing. Now, it's not really sticking because it's been barely above freezing the last few days. But it is on the. I looked out the window this morning and I see snow on the roofs. Is it roofs or roofs? What's the plural of roof? Roofs, roofs. There was snow on all of the neighborhood rooftops. That sounds better. Rooftops, neighborhood rooftops. And it's snowing, and now it's starting to stick in the grass. So April 18th, I don't want to see snow. I'm done. But I think there's a warm up on the way, like tomorrow or Wednesday, hopefully. So we've got a full chat. Uncle Rich, 2 days in a row. Welcome back. Jenny is with us. It's snowing in Minnesota. Herman, good morning. Ed is with us, the card hobbyist, straight execution. Jenny, I just call them shingles. Sia Suzuki has just as many home runs as the Baltimore Orioles. Sia Suzuki, he's on fire, hit another home run yesterday. Nice Cubs win in Colorado. Always fun to see. I actually watched most of the game. I think I turned it off and I ended up doing some other stuff around the 8th inning. I was getting a little nervous as the Rockies had loaded the bases and climbed out of a 5-0 deficit. I think the final score was 6-4. What's up, Dan? So another Cubs win. And I lost my first fantasy matchup. My team just really sucked down the stretch. Had a good, that partial week. I was doing okay, and then all of a sudden, the full week just killed me. My pitching was brutal. So hopefully, can turn things around this week. So yesterday, I did a lot of, and the last couple days, I've been doing a lot of cleaning, organizing, because I've come to the realization that, and I made a comment recently, I don't know if it was here or in life, I made the comment that I thrive in chaos, and I really started to think about that. That 70s show, good morning. MLB will switch to pitching machines someday soon. And I got to thinking, Cooter's with us, good morning. I got to think, do I really thrive in chaos? I may think I do, but I don't think I am. And I've seen my eBay sales dip this week. Victor, good morning to you. I wax to the future. Good to see you in the chat. I'm up early enough that you're live. Wow, I'm going to need a nap around lunch. And I think I've come to the realization that I only think I thrive in chaos, where in reality it's bringing me down. And I say that because I literally see it when I'm, when I have the piles of cards and the piles have dissipated. But when I list, oftentimes, and that's why I kind of started backwards with, the A1. So I'm gonna list this, and I saw Ron Berry on Twitter use the skew method, which looks really sharp. So this is focus A1. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna switch it up, and instead of going A2, I'm gonna date it. So it's gonna be 0418 for today. If I do one of those, and so there's no sorting. So yesterday I was bouncing back and forth between my rec room and in the card room, between shipping and in sorting the piles and piles of cards that when I'm fulfilling orders and shipping, I'm digging through. Oh crap. Sometimes it actually early on, like the first couple days, I know exactly where each pile, because I know, okay, I listed this pile yesterday and this pile 2 days ago, and I remember listing these cards. But when you get 2 weeks out and it's like, oh crap, which pile is it? And then the piles intermingle, they commingle, and then you're losing all kinds of time. In my business, we have a saying, chaos equals cash. Yeah, there's for wrestling fans, I don't think there's too many that watch this show. Um, oh no, Bischoff is controversy creates cash. Chaos equals cash. I'm taking Rich's advice this week, pre-sorted by set, scanning the cards now. Very cool. April, as you have noted, because of taxes, is always one of the two hardest months of the year to make sales. Yes, it is. I was actually looking back through last year's numbers, and there was kind of a dip in April of last year. Not to the point of what I'm seeing now, but I'm hoping I rebound. It's only April 18th. And I did have a decent weekend in sales. Sales really picked up, and what I'm seeing there's a big correlation in eBay activity when it comes to sales. The more activity I log within eBay, just talking about updating listings, listing new items, offering best offers, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was battling the allergies. I just had it zapped me of my energy. So I really didn't want to make too many sales because I felt like crap. So I wasn't listing any cards. I sprinkled a few here and there, but not much. I ended up amassing like 80 or 90 where I can make an offer to watchers on items. And if it was a higher dollar item, I would. But if it was, the lower dollar items, it's like I'm not going to waste my time because I don't want to ship them because I feel like crap. So I just wasn't logging much activity. All of a sudden, I bounced back Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. I'm sending those offers. I'm responding to offers. I'm listing more cards. Boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, sales spike. And I have a good weekend. Not a great weekend, but a good weekend, a decent weekend of sales. So, and I think a lot of this has to do with, well, I can list more when I'm more organized. I'm going to get into, so Jenny mentions here Rich's advice about pre-sorting. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm not going to follow that method. And I think I've explained why, because when I upload, Jenny's not using Image Shack. I use Image Shack, and it kind of mangles the order. So if you spend time pre-sorting and then upload your photos, it just mangles them all up. There's no order. It's chaos, and that doesn't create cash. So that's why I'm not pre-sorting. And I do somewhat. So last night I've got a box that has, it's like a 900. It's one of those long boxes, 900 count box. So about half of it was cards that I had picked up at the Freeport card shop a couple months ago when I made my trip, and I showed off some. Some of them sold. So I listed some of those, and then the other half is some recent Goodwill. So I think I'm going to do some bulk listing of like the Batman. Really cool cards, Fleer Metal Batman from 1995. Really cool cards. So I think I'm gonna list those and see how those move. I'll do that today. Back to the chat. Rich says the second one in months of hardest months of sales, September. That September surprises me because at least from a card show perspective, September. You know what? September was. And my show is the end of the month. So by September, I was starting to rebound from the summer slowdown. And that's in-person card show sales. So it might be a little different than online. But October was when the floodgates open. And I think maybe August, September, because the kids are back in school. And now you're starting to do, activities again. School activities. Jenny says we'll make for faster listing when I don't have to look at those tiny years on the back of each card. I don't know. Hear me out, and I want your opinion, because I've noticed this within the last, and what's scary is I've noticed it with like previous years. I think it comes with I have a hard time reading those years. And sometimes, I'll pull this Riley Green, which Bowman is typically very good with, but there's somewhere it's like, is it blurry? Is it my eyesight? Am I getting old and losing my vision? But sometimes I have to like hold and I'm like, Do I need bifocals? I'm like, gosh, I've never had to do that up until like within the last year. And what's scary is it's like on older years where I don't ever remember having difficulty. Is the print wear? Hopefully, it's the print wearing down. But I'm having that issue where I can't read the tiny print on the backs of cards. I think it's age. That scares me. I don't want to get old. Um, Last 2 years were exemptions because of stimulus. Ah, that's right. John says government is making a lot of sales this week, Rich. Yes, they are. They're collecting a lot of money. John was a buyer. Chaos breeds inefficiency and distracts one from focusing on what's important. Captain Obvious out. Totally agree. Totally agree. And I think I've just been not blind to it, but not wanting to, because I love hoarding. There, I admitted it. I love hoarding, but I also love selling things and getting rid of things. But I really need to crack down because, and here's why. And I had a great conversation Saturday with David, who I added 40,000 more Cubs cards, so I'm up to over 795,000 Cubs now. And we were just talking about basically hoarding cards. And he had talked to another collector who just had millions and millions of cards, no order, similar to what you're seeing here in this room. And he's like, what good? And my wife's been trying to tell me this for years, and I just fail to listen. And it's like the cards aren't, either sell them. There's an old saying that my dad loved: shit or get off the pot. I should have prefaced that with earmuffs, in case Porter is watching or any other kids. Not too many kids watch based on my analytics, although recently my analytics have changed. That's a totally another subject. But poop or get off the pot. So I think I've come to that, and I did make a first step to making that decision. Last month when I made that conscious decision to move the commons from that first Goodwill pallet. If they're banged up and beat up, they're going in the recycle bin. But if they're in decent shape, I'm just going to bulk them out and sell for a few hundred bucks. And so I've got another bulk build up, and I've got somebody interested going to come up in a couple weeks, move that. And I think I need to do more of that, more local bulk sales, just clean up, because it's been sitting, much of this, like especially in the closet, has been sitting in there for 5+ years. Well, I've been in this house for 5 years. So 5 years, especially when you get in the back of the closet. I have dug it out and gone through, especially during the pandemic. And when I saw basketball cards, especially like Prism, first year Prism, it's like, I got to go dig those out. But I've come to that realization where I need to get off the pot and get rid of all of this bulk that I don't want. Also, it's preventing me from buying new bulk. Like I've mentioned this recently, I've turned down many opportunities of bulk in just the last couple of weeks because I just don't have any space for it. I'm taking up this entire card room, which is now almost, this card room is about 30% Cubs cards now. And the bulk I'm selling on Marketplace is taking up some area in another storage room that is supposed to be a card-free zone, and it's not. And then I've got this closet just piled boxes on boxes on boxes that, I'm not quite 6 feet tall, but it's taller than me, stacked of 4-row, 5-row boxes. So it's time to bulk out, but I've got to get this room in order. And it's chaotic, and it is, as Cooter says, it's breeding inefficiency, and it's costing me money. It's costing me time, which leads to costing you money. And so I'm spending a lot of time, and what I've been hustling these last couple days It's kind of when you're sick and when you start feeling better, you feel invincible. It's like one of the greatest feelings because you come off from feeling like absolute dog crap, and then all of a sudden you start feeling better and you feel like a superhero. I can do anything. And so that's what I felt like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And hopefully it carries on into today. How's this Dunkin' Donuts coffee? This is not from Dunkin' Donuts, but it's the Dunkin' Donuts brand coffee. So power me up, Dunkin'. What's up, Diego? Good morning to you. Okay, so I missed a lot of the chat. Where are we at? So Diego's with it. Card Hobby says the positive of chaos is it may spur action or innovation. That's a good way to spin it. I love that. Where it's gotten to the point where I've realized, hey, I have a problem of inefficiency. And I'm 6 months. I'm like literally 6 month anniversary. I started full time on October 15th of 2021. So here we are at the 6 month mark, and it's like, hey, if I really want to take this to the next level, I need to make some changes within these four walls of the card room because it's chaotic, it's creating inefficiency, and I need to change because you don't want to go insane. What's the was it Einstein? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results, I believe. And so it's time to reflect. How have these last 6 months? I'm really going to do a deep dive into the first year once I get to that 1 year mark on October 15th, and that's when I'm going to look at the numbers. Okay, this is what I need to do. But before I get there, I don't want to, be in complete disarray before then. So you take quarterly reviews and look to see what needs to change, and we'll see how this affects future revenue. Let's see, back to school spending. There you go, which seems to get earlier and earlier, kind of like Christmas comes out earlier. You'll start seeing it's like before summer even starts, you start seeing back to school crap in Walmart. It ticks me off. But I don't mind seeing the Christmas stuff in August. I'm okay with that, but I don't want to see the back to school. And I haven't had anything to do with school. Well, I guess I went back 10, 12, 15 years ago. But outside of that, I don't know. It's a sign when it's back to school, it means summer's over and winter's coming. And winter lasts forever in Wisconsin. It's snowing today on April 18th. John says, I'm with Jenny. The latter Fleer cards were the best to identify years, printed them large. I've noticed it's the print smudges on some. I was going to mention that because in some cases it seems like and maybe this is on like the newer, or maybe as printing technology changed over the years, where some of it's almost like a blur. And yeah, like you said, a smudge. It's almost like a smudge, but it's kind of like a blur in the printing process. Card Hobbyist says it comes with age, talking about the back of cards. The font gets smaller the older I get. Victor uses a magnifying glass. I should probably. Dan says I use a loop to read those card backs. Okay, these are some good. This is good stuff. I may have to pick up a small magnifying glass. Because it is, and I've noticed when I can't read some of especially when it's cards that I'm not familiar with as a collector and typically this happens in the mid to late 90s when I wasn't really collecting cards all that much. And I'll put them in the wrong because sometimes the 6 looks like a 5 or the 5 looks like a 6 and vice versa. And that's when I get in trouble because I file it away in 95 or 96. So what and this is something that I've just learned. I know I haven't sold the card. Nothing is sold outside of eBay within my eBay boxes. Nothing goes to auction. So it's not something that would be listed and, sold and then relisted or whatever. If it's in my eBay store, it's here somewhere. And that's why it's chaotic with piles. Maybe I knocked a card off and it fell on the floor and it's somewhere, which actually has happened. That actually happened with with an order Brad, Texas Card Dude, put in. I think it was a Sean Murphy rookie from a couple years ago. And it got knocked down, and it ended up falling between this shelf and my computer desk. And like 3 months later, I was doing my quarterly clean, and hey, there's that Sean Murphy card that Brad bought. So it happens. So it's somewhere. That's why I need to be more organized. But sometimes I'll, so now I've learned that, okay, maybe I just filed it in the wrong year. So if it's a 95, I'm going to look at 96, 94. And if it's not there, then it probably got knocked down with that Sean Murphy card. Let's see. Rich says, yes, the Department of Treasury is collecting from people, including me. I think most people are paying in. A lot of people paying in. Rich also uses a magnifying glass. What I used to do was just put stuff I would not want to sell immediately into a monster box and then do a once a year review. And I do something similar where I'll just pull boxes out from time to time. And usually it's kind of seasonal. I'll try to put boxes. When I buy bulk, sometimes it's hard to sort out because I don't want to spend that time sorting into sport if it's just kind of a mishmash. But I do have boxes like, and I've started and I actually started transitioning my card room maybe a month ago to where I want this. This used to be a shelf of all my teams, and it's still about half where it's team boxes from when I was heavily doing team trades, which I'm not doing anymore. So these can all just be filed away. Actually, most of these can probably be bulked out. So this I want to be an expansion of this shelf here is my eBay inventory. And then over here, these boxes are all eBay inventory. And then I'll put some boxes down here. And then over there is going to be future eBay inventory. So I know that I can just pull these boxes. I know this is stuff that's going to eventually be my eBay store. So that's what I'm trying to do. Behind me is all Cubs, which I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do there because they've spilled out onto the floor right here. Right? Those boxes right there. Those have spilled out and started stacking. I've got 8 more monster boxes that I'll be bringing in. And I still have 200,000 more cards to go for Cubs. So I've got to figure something out. And I guess maybe I'll utilize that shelf because the shelf over there is just kind of a mishmash of mostly stuff that I'll list, but it's also got like some remnants of my Sport Lot store, which I haven't had in 4 years. Like I see 2017 Allen and Ginter. I see a box of 1985 tops, 1980 tops, and then the top is where I keep all my sealed wax. So anyway, let's see. Last year was wild because I actually reviewed 2 to 3 times due to circumstances. Some years and sets have the year they were printed and weren't released until the following year. Yes, and that happened a lot in the 90s, which annoys the crap out of me because A, it's confusing and it goes against tradition. And B, I wasn't collecting then, so I have no idea, especially like 98, 99. I still, to this day, how many years later, almost 25 years later, I still have a hard time deciphering between 1998 tops and 1999 tops. The week in 2021, we were all stuck at home during the ice storm. I used to review my cards. That's awesome. Or John, in the case of Big League 2021, it will have a print date of 2025. It's not hoarding, it's curating. There, I like that. That's a great word. Rich says, I had an amazing March show with some of the stuff I pulled out that I had bought on the come, so to speak. I had spent the year before $50 to $60 at SI for kids cards at a dime each of athletes I had heard of. Very cool. Very cool. Currently hoarding dandelions in my backyard. Neighbors hate it. I freaking hate dandelions. I hate dandelions so much. We have a company that comes in and I think this company is false advertising because it's called Weed Man, and all they do is bring over stuff to to help the lawn. Um, so whenever they come, I'm like, there's a dandelion back there, and they're just like, that's what the pandemic did to me. It turned me into the crazy old man that tends his lawn. Um, there's a dandelion in my backyard. What do I do with my dandelions? Um, that in the 2000s. Oh shoot, I've got a lot of chats to go up. Where am I at? Where am I at? Always get loose. Well, that in the 2003 Net Pro, you will have a new good feeling in getting rid of bulk commons because you will have space to bring in what you want. Sparks joy from the cart show pickups. Absolutely. And that's another thing. It's like, a lot of this is just dead weight, dead cards, stale inventory. So it's nice to get rid of and purge. Um, have one of your mini half siblings help you sort. Um, my brother, actually, my older brother, my oldest brother, he is probably the who got me into collecting cards because this was in the late 80s, and him and his business partner, still business partners to this day, they were like big into cards, and actually his business partner opened a card shop. And I've talked about that on this show. And so they kind of started getting back into it because I've never really left the hobby, but I've taken short sabbaticals. And so I always talk to my brother about cards. And as they started getting back into the mainstream, my brother's more interested in his partner, Big Daddy. Um, he reached out to me, wanted to sell his Jordan rookie. He sold off most of his card shop inventory when he closed in the 90s, but he kept some random stuff, some good stuff like the Jordan rookie. So, and then he started going to card shows, and I'm like, hey, you got to come up to Madison. You got to come up to my show. And then my brother's calls me one night, and he's like, hey, so I've got this uh, unopened box of 89 Upper Deck. So then I'm going through and neither of them really knew much about the grade like PSA and grading because they were out before that really took storm. So then I'm, talking about, okay, it may be factory sealed 89 Upper Deck, but that doesn't mean there's a Gem Mint Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card in there. There's centering issues, there's hologram issues, and explaining all of that. So fun stuff. But my brother is very financially savvy, so he's not going to waste his time sorting my cards. That's what Herman is for. There you go. I'm going to put Herman to work. Herman, clean my basement. Larry, good morning. When do you sleep? I actually get it. I get a good night's sleep. I sleep. I sleep well. As you can see, I spend time sleeping and not cleaning. Part of a successful business is constantly improving. Organization is key to streamlining efficiency. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That means I've spent 6 months with Bo and crew every morning. That went fast. 6 months of winter. Yeah, because October 15th, it was probably cold then. Texas has winter too, just with a bunch of 70-degree days tossed in. When your client is offered A, B, or C and chooses C, at the last second they realize they want A. By that point, it costs A plus B plus C, chaos and cash sitting in a tree. The 2021 Heritage might be the most difficult to read. 2021 Heritage. Yes, it is. You'd be better off with a magnifier mounted on an arm, just clamp onto your desk. Actually, that probably you're right. That probably would be. My loop has an LED built into it. That's nice. Shaw Cards is with us. Good morning. Costco wire racks flying in. Cooter says, John beat me to it. I have a swing arm magnifier in my workbench sorting table. Also use flip down magnifying headset, a real chick magnet. Bo, do you know of any movies filmed in Western Illinois? Bo hates bees. Let's see. I don't off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there have been. But I will say, speaking of movie, John Mahoney, who was in, I turned on Uh, is it Say Anything? What's the John Cusack movie? I think it's Say Anything. John Mahoney, who played the dad of the woman lead, John Mahoney, uh, grew up in Western Illinois. He went to I don't know if he grew up. He was a he actually was like an English professor at Western Illinois before he went into acting. I think he graduated from Quincy University, and then he went on to Western. He may have finished his education at Western, but I think he also taught English at Western Illinois. But that was before his acting career. But I don't know. Now I'm curious, and I want to look that up. The 80s were the same sets were printed the year prior and released in December, so the print year is a year earlier than the set year. Card Hobbyist loves dandelions. Where am I at here? They feed the bees. Bob, what's up? Let's see. Mojo Sports just released a video on Burbank's warehouse of 42 million cards. The organization is amazing. Rob mentioned 13 steps in the life of a card. That's like, I don't know how they do. I mean, he must have an army of employees. Because just think how long it takes to sort cards. And then at that level, like that's just it's amazing. In the South, some people eat dandelion salads. Yes, dandelion is there's dandelion wine, which I think somebody mentioned in the chat. Um, the flowers taste okay. The greens are very bitter. I don't think I've ever had anything dandelion related. When you reach 1 million, you should host a Madison meetup for this group to help sort and organize the collection. That's crowdsourcing to sort. I love it. 2021 Topps flagship was worse than Heritage to read. John says Frasier. Yep, John Mahoney from Frasier, the dad on Frasier. Say Anything, also in 8 Men Out. Good morning. What's up, DR? Hope you have a great day as well. Rob will say one of his secrets is do something difficult. 42 million worth of difficult and do it better than anyone else. Absolutely. John is heading to Burbank this week. I'd love to get out there. I'd love to just to see it. I know my buddy Don from Fujitsu has been working with Rob in Burbank. They actually put out a series of videos. I think one of the videos has been released. I'll try to link it up to see. I'm trying to get Don to come out and bring Fujitsu to the Madison Card Show. April didn't work. He has a son that plays baseball. So, and I know, and just from like customers and dealers, we're getting into baseball season. So a lot of Saturday games. I know that's, but we'll try to get Don out and get Fujitsu because I do have one of my customers. We chatted at one of the last shows, and he was looking into to picking up one of those scanners, and so I hope he did. And it'd be nice to show off those Fujitsu scanners to the card show community here in Madison. In the summer, Rob may have up to 30 employees. Rob's favorite Italian eatery closed a while back. He is still in mourning. Speaking of employees, you're 6 months in. Are you thinking you will be a one-man show for year 2 at this point? Does it look like you might scale up the shop? At this point, I would say I'm going to continue as a one-man show. 6 months in, that would be my observation. I'm not quite ready. I can still handle everything. Now, at the same time, you say, well, you can handle everything, but would it be worth it? Would it be more worth it to have somebody assist with the shipping part and then you do strictly the listing? Absolutely. But it's still something that I want to have enough. I want to have enough safety net. I don't know if that's the right word, but I want to have enough safety net built into the business to support employee and continue bringing cash flow in, because I don't want to have, I don't want to be stretched too thin, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see. We're 6 months in. And that's definitely still in the realm of possibility. It's also something I want to discuss with. We have a family friend who's been great, kind of a mentor, a business mentor, and then my accountant as well, who helps with just gives some advice here and there. So it's something that I'll bounce off people um, and see, here's the numbers, here's projections, here's what I think, and we'll see if it all works out, because it is something that, I don't want to be stretched thin, and I want it to be something to where it's actually, because you also, when you hire somebody, there's a lot of, and when you're a one man show, that there's you have to be prepared to lose. There's going to be some setbacks, because I'm going to be spending time training, an employee. So that's going to take some, you know, some work away. So it's just got to be, it's all got to work. So right now, if I were to say right now, would I be ready for that? I would say no, but that's why I want to wait 1 year in and reassess and see how things are looking. So that answer may change, as we approach October. But right now, I would say I'll continue, as a one man show. And it might be something by December, January. It's like, okay, now I'm ready. So we'll see. Put the kibosh on those Madison Little Leagues to keep the show at 100 plus, 100 tables plus. Bo needs Sherpas. Let's see. College interns are cheap as well, and this is a college town, so this is a university town. So set up that little league field. Bo, could you mention all the shows from the people that are in the chat? I want to make sure I'm supporting all their channels. Yeah, let's see. I know, John, that 70s card show has a show. Who else? Korean Cardboard puts out some videos. Um, I I don't know if anybody has a show. I'll just make it easier so I'm not going through the chat. If anybody has a show, pop it in the chat, and let's support each other. And if I'm not subscribed to your channel, let me know, because I am kind of poor at, YouTube's much different than Twitter. Like, when somebody follows you and you follow back. YouTube's a little different because I always don't get those notifications, because I see like my subscribers go up, but I don't get notifications on all of them. So sometimes I miss many. What's the one thing you learned in these 6 months that you didn't expect, good or bad? I think the number one thing that I didn't expect was, I thought the growth, and this is more of where we're at in the industry, hobby, where the market's at, was I didn't expect to see the decline that we've seen, and specifically like in my store, where, when I went full time, when I started crunching the numbers, last summer, my sell through rate was 1.2 to 1.5%. So I based my all of my projections on a 1% sell through rate, because I knew, as I added more and more to the store, that there's going to be some stuff that's just not going to move, and so that's going to bring down your sell through rate. So I based it on a 1% sell through rate, where right now I'm at like a 0.66%. I didn't see that drop off, which means I'm doing about 4 times the amount of work to make the same as what I was doing when I was working full time. So I didn't expect to see. I knew there was going to be a drop in, you know, hobby popularity, sales, but I didn't expect to see the decline that we've seen. Now, it's not a decline to where I can't make it. I can't make it work, or I don't want to make it work. I still can, and you just have to have that motivation to. And that's why I find it important to run the numbers based on, your current, my current, and I've shown this before, where I take the 90-day snapshot. I record this every day. Here's how many sales I'm averaging per day over the last 90 days. Here's the average cost. Here's the average sale. Here's my sell-through rate. Let's project this out to 50,000 is what I'm projecting it out to, but I'm not, that was my goal for October. It's going to be difficult to get there. Not impossible, but very difficult. So when I see those numbers, it's like, hell, if I, once I get to that point, it's, a no-brainer. but you've got to get to that point. And so that's the fun. I like the journey. And I think somebody mentioned that. I think it was John. I think we were talking about flights. I like the journey. I was talking about cross country RV to spring training next year. I like the journey. And as long as I can pay the bills and still take my spring training so yarn and still go to some games and still live life. Um, it's fun. I mean, I'm selling baseball cards, as a full-time job. That's like the dream job. And I can still make it work. So I think that's what motivates me. It's like I'm doing this. It's a dream job, and I can make a living doing it. And that's what empowers me to continue and do more and more. So, but that is something that's probably the number one thing. I didn't expect to see such a steep decline in sales. Rich says the right employee would make you even more money. Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. The problem, and I have many friends who own businesses and are looking for employees. There's not too many right employees out there right now. It's very difficult to find good help. And I've got some friend. One of my friends he's been a financial advisor for a few years now, and he's making that step to hire an assistant. Um, my wife is looking to add on to her team in real estate. Um, let's see, my buddy runs some axe throwing businesses and splatter paint splatter rooms. Extremely difficult to find help. So the right help can certainly make you more money. Uh, but it's almost at this point in time, it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack, finding the right help. DR says you should have a table for your accountant at the show. I did reach out to him. Of course, I reached out to him. Today's tax day. Happy tax day. I did reach out to him. So of course he's slammed. I'm like, hey, I know you're slammed. I know you're swamped, but I want to run this by you. When you get some time, let me know. So he's going to circle back to me in a couple months. Once the tax season, once he gets to the slower part of his year, which is still a couple months out. Rich says one of the themes Dr. Jim's podcast over the years is that once he hired people, he made more money. Oh, without a doubt, because especially like what I see with my wife's business is, she's doing a lot of work that, you know, I help out what I can, but a lot of the tedious portions of her job, you have to be a licensed realtor. So I can't go show a home if it's like, okay, I've got showings here. I need somebody to show houses to this couple, or, you know, uh, turn the lights off. Like you have to actually be a licensed realtor to do many of those things. So there's a lot of just menial tasks that she can build her business even further with the help. And she did add an employee on recently, which helped greatly. And she's looking to continue to add. Um, you could start with an employee to just handle shipping. That's the plan. That's the plan. And that's why I'm striving to really nail down the organization of my inventory, where I love the advice that um, various people on Twitter have given about the skew, and I'm finally going to put that to practice. I do need to test that out. I want to list those Batman cards today, but I think I'm going to start with baseball just to do the skew, so I have that in place and I know how it looks, and just to track it with a small sample. I'll maybe do a 50-60 listing, just to get my feet wet. But that's the first step, because you got to think of it from likely the person that is hired. If it's not if, it's when I hire somebody. And like I said, it may not be, it's probably not going to be this year, but at some point in the future, you know, as I scale up the business, I'm not going to be able to scale to where I want to scale on my own. I will need assistance. So when that happens, it's likely not going to be somebody that's well versed in cards. And so, you know, what we take for granted, being you know, buried in cards most of our lives. They have no idea. So that's why, with football and basketball, it's easy for me because I've less inventory. I can do it by last name. But with baseball, it's like, okay, I need to get away from 2018 Bowman because then you get into, okay, I've got, for Bowman example, I break it down. Let's look at 2018. I have 2018 Bowman. Okay. That's basically just paper, non-first. Then I have 2018 first Bowman. So that's, all the first Bowman cards, paper. Then I have 2018 Bowman Chrome. That's all the Chrome cards. Then I have 2018 Bowman Camo, the Camo parallels. Then I have the 2018 Bowman Mega Box. Is somebody not familiar with the hobby going to have any idea what those are? They may not even know. I guess it does say, well, this Riley Green Futurist, it just has a B Chrome. If I had no idea, um, if I looked at this card and I have no background in the hobby, what the hell card is this? And then you look at the back, oh, it's a Topps card. But what's the B Chrome mean? I don't know what Bowman is. So that's something that could hold me back. So I think that's the transition here, you know, that I need to do the SKU method, because somebody that's handling the shipping when they're pulling cards, especially if it's like a multi-card order, 8, 9 cards, and there's a bunch of cards, and they're going to be inefficient because they may not know the different things. Hell, I am confused, and I've been doing this, for you know most of my life, and I get confused. So I can only imagine somebody that doesn't have any hobby experience. And if you limit yourself to hiring somebody with hobby experience, that pool just shrunk massively. So your pool of thousands went down to, if you're lucky, dozens, a handful. So that's the crossroads I'm at. That I think I really need to focus on skewing this out, uh, looking ahead down the road, where it may not be this year, but next year and in future years, where somebody's gonna have no idea what a Bowman Chrome when it just says B on the back. They're gonna look on the back of the card and it says Topps. They're gonna be all confused. So that's where I'm at. I'm at that crossroads where I need to find a good method where somebody that's fresh to the hobby, new to the hobby, where they can quickly pull. So now you have a SKU, and especially if it shows up in your sold items, where, okay, this Riley Green Futurist, and it has a SKU of 0418. So I'm going to go and I've got this box and it's 0418. There's the Riley Green. And you may have to sift through 50 or 100 cards, but there's the Riley Green. Maybe it's alphabetized. That's the next step. So we shall see. Turkey Cards, good morning to you. Brian is with us. What's up? LOL, if you get an intern, I'm going to lose it. Brian, you'll be my first call. But you're gonna get a job in no time. I will be on Hobby Hotline tomorrow night. Yep, don't forget Tuesday night Hobby Hotline overtime. You should mention your other show. So yes, Hobby Hotline tomorrow night. Rich is going to be on there. Sam is going to be on there, and Rich, who is with you and Sam? I cannot remember who the third is. Ed, don't forget 3B Collection. Yes, Herman, 3B Collection. Diego's channel is great. Yes, Sports Card Detour. Check his channel out. Jenny says, my goal is 9,000 active by April 28th. I'm at 7,200 right now. Definitely seeing sales increase as activities increase. You are catching up, and you don't even use File Exchange. I am highly impressed, because I'm just sitting over 11,000. And it just kind of sits there. I need to make more of an effort, and I am getting slowed down, but it's going to help me move forward by taking a short, sidestep to organization and sorting. Then I can be on my way to really scaling up. Definitely have to add employees on real estate. That market is wild. It's absolutely insane. You do skew, boo. The question isn't will you make more money? The question is, will you make more profit than the expense of the employee to where it sets you up to grow so you needed to hire another? Absolutely. How has everyone that does eBay been seeing basketball sales? I'm surprised with playoffs that B-ball isn't really moving. I have noticed that as well. My football sales are a little down, which was expected. Um, but yes, basketball really, I get some sales here and there. Baseball, my store is geared toward baseball anyway. That's what I'm attracted to because I enjoy baseball. But I do buy inventory for football and basketball just because that's the smart way to do business. Um, but yeah, I see basketball sales sprinkle here and there. Let's just take a look. I always enjoy looking at my recent sales. Is that we got to go to sold? Um, Actually, the last card, and I think I sold this as I went on live this morning. My last card sold was actually a tennis card, believe it or not. A 2007 Marat Safin. Um, so this is fun. Uh, a tennis. The last three cards sold: tennis, baseball, soccer, and then a basketball. The basketball card I sold, Al Horford. Um, and then baseball, I sold a Gaylord Perry 83 Donruss. I sold an 83 Fleer Howard Johnson. 2020 Bowman rookie Travis Demerit. Trevor Richards rookie from 2019 Donruss. And then, hey, a UFC card, Paige Van Zant. Then I sold a few 74 top, a whole bunch of 74 tops football. Um, I did not sell that. I sold a Riley Green, but not that Riley Green. The one that I've shown like 5 times for examples. I actually sold two Gaylord Perrys in the last few hours. I sold a Chris Paul card last night. But yeah, not too many basketball sales. Just two. Oh, there was a orange reactive Grayson Allen. So I've sold a few here and there. Um, let's see. Take notes, Herman. You're the new inventory guy for Bo. Brian has 3 interviews this week. That's freaking awesome. Mike Moynihan. Oh, nice. So Mike, Sam, and Rich tonight or tomorrow night on Hobby Hotline, 8 p.m. Central. Herman says my favorite part of the hobby. Um, Herman says my first hobby job was I was paid just to sort stuff just like what was behind Bo. That's fun. People are burned out on hoops. It was 18 months of nonstop basketball. Yeah, that's a good point. Uh, let's see. And so there we go. So that's where I'm at. I woke up this morning having no idea what I was going to talk about. Here we are, 30 people watching. That's amazing. I think that may be a record. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it. We're almost an hour in. So I'm going to wrap things up. So I'm going to do more. I think, what else do I have today? I've got some just random. I do have some basketball that needs to be sorted. I have a few piles of basketball that needs to be sorted. So I did football. I think I finished my football sorting yesterday, got all my baseball sorted. Basketball today. I'll do some shipping, and then I want to do some listing as well. DR says, when you're looking for that employee, use the show to find a person who loves cards. Lots of people there. And that's a great point. I've actually met, and I think the pandemic has led to a lot more people just getting into the hobby, but and promoting a show, like, you just meet all of these people from your area. So so those two, now it's like, and that's another benefit of putting on a show, and not just promoting a show, but if you're a regular dealer, you get to build these relationships with regular customers, other dealers, and it's great networking. And that leads me to, oh, hey, this guy's looking for this. Hey, I've got a guy, and somebody comes up to my table. The collection I looked at last weekend, they came out to my show last month, and I pointed them in the direction of a couple different dealers that, okay, this might be up their alley. And so, just able, and just, okay, I know they buy stuff. And they've set up at the show. They're great. They're honest. So talk to them. So that's, getting out to card shows and meeting people and networking can help as well. So That's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be doing some more organizing today, doing some listing and some shipping. Back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Thanks again. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll chat tomorrow.